to IGN Live at E3. Now, people have been patiently waiting for Bungie's next big game since they left the Halo franchise. We saw some great footage at Sony's press conference yesterday. So let's welcome Destiny. Ryan McCaffrey here has it all for you.
Thanks, Naomi. I am very pleased to be joined by Pete Parsons, the Chief Operating Officer of Bungie, which means you only answer to the mythical man who did make an appearance at E3, Jason Jones.
Yeah,
that's it.
Well, no, Jason and Harold Ryan. We have a little.
So I have been lucky enough to cover your games for many years. I've been a fan of Bungie for many years, the entire Halo series.
And you've come out to Bungie for many years.
Yeah, for a little while I practically had a desk there. But we've got a new universe. We've got a new thing. It's Destiny. It's been a long time coming. We finally saw it at the Sony press conference yesterday evening, and it's real, it's running, and it looks fantastic. Now let's talk through. We've got a 11-minute demo of the game. Let's have a look at it.
Well, here you are actually in the open land. You're watching our real-time night and day lighting.
That little tree in the distance, I can go there.
There is a huge world for you to explore inside of Destiny, and that's just a little showcase of how we have day and night inside this world as well.
Now, talk about the engine for a minute, the technology behind Destiny, because this is a large-scale, always connected first-person shooter. What are some of the new tricks and bells and whistles that are going into Destiny?
Well, we knew that if we're going to create a new generation of shooter, we're going to have to pretty much start from the ground up again. So while for us this is kind of our natural next big step in shooters, we had to completely redevelop our tool pipeline to maximize on both making sure we looked and played great on current gens, but also the next generation of games. More importantly, though, we knew we were going to have to get bigger as a studio. You know, we have some of the most talented people in the world. They were going to need to be able to make a lot of content rapidly and get our designers in quickly to work.
Now, we saw the Fallen enemy class there, with the multi-armed guys there a minute ago. Now, which of the three? We got three character classes. Who is that right there?
Yeah, so right now that's a Warlock character, pretty exciting character. So he deals in serious magic. You saw in the demo earlier, and we'll see it later, where he throws a Nova bomb.
And those magical abilities are mysterious powers derived from the Traveler, correct? The benevolent planetary force that sort of hovers over the city.
Mysterious and magical science. How's that?
So where are we here? Are we heading into the city, or is this just a wasteland elsewhere on Earth?
That's a good question. So right now, we are outside in old Russia, outside of the Cosmodrome, one of the last places where humanity tried to escape the fall inside of their colony ships. So you're seeing this huge wall surrounding the Cosmodrome, and those big spires in the distance are those ships.
Now, is this the Hunter class?
That's the Hunter. So
that's another player. That is a human player.
Yep. Ranged, more stealthy character, and they're joining up right now in a fire team, and that's another exciting thing.
Now, does that happen via a matchmaking service, or does because that person just sort of showed up, or was that for the purposes of this demo?
Well, so those two players are friends, and so they're choosing to meet.
Okay.
And so what's really important for us is when you think about matchmaking or players coming together, that it happens very seamlessly, that you're a lot less focused on what is the piece of UI that I'm playing with, and more about just showing up and playing with my friends.
So in Destiny, because you guys, Bungie, you developed what arguably still is the greatest piece of multiplayer matchmaking technology on this generation of consoles with the Halo 2, 3, etc. hopper system.
Right.
But so that's all gone in favor of a behind-the-scenes seamless thing now?
I would say it's significantly changed.
Right, okay.
So a lot of it is built around making sure that experience is sitting behind the scenes. If you're going to build a persistent world, we want to make sure that I can go have my great story, my campaign-like experience, and then I move into these public spaces where I see lots of players. And what's happening there is we're starting to match players right underneath the surface, so that all you see are new players coming into the space.
So, and again, this whether you're on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PlayStation 3, or Xbox 360, this is an always connected game.
It is an always connected game. You can't have a living world unless it's actually you can be with your friends.
Right.
And we think that even if you want to play by yourself, which you can do, or just with a couple of friends, or play competitive multiplayer, you can have that experience, but we always want to make sure you feel like you're in a place that's living and vibrant and interesting.
Now, maybe you're not ready to reveal this kind of detail yet, but as we see the first real action scene kick up, Bungie's always been a developer that's been you're a couch-friendly developer, and what I mean by that is you've always supported split-screen multiplayer with all the Halos. For a persistent game, I mean, is that going to make its return in Destiny, or is that still being explored? Or?
Yeah, no details to talk about yet, but it is really important. Like, I think, we've always been about bringing people together, building communities, and so giving you a social experience is at the core of what we're going to do. We're going to even do things to bring players together that you really don't even understand what's happening, and all of a sudden you want to play.
Yeah.
We give you incentive to play with others.
We're on Earth. We're in one corner of outside Russia.
Yeah.
This looks like a massive structure on its own. Is this maybe 1/2 of 1% of the game world that we're looking at right now?
It's hard to get figures, but this is a very, very small area. You're just seeing a small slice of the places that you'll go, the destinations that you go, but also of the gameplay types itself. This is a world filled with activities.
Let's talk about the combat, because we're seeing it now. We just saw one of the traveler, the traveler gifted magical abilities there. That energy ball. Can you talk about what that was?
So he threw a big Nova Bomb. The big purple one was a huge destructive Nova Bomb. The player coming in before had his golden gun, which is this huge gun infused with magic. And so that's exciting for us. Using magic is fun, using weapons are fun, but when you're a space knight, use them together is even better.
Now, something that was talked about when you first unveiled the game back in February is a lot of signature weapons, unique weapons, customizable weapons. It seems like this very high-octane 6-shooter we're using here seems like a very special thing. It's got what appears to be a scope. It's red. So can the player customize these weapons?
Yeah, so you will build and grow the attributes of these weapons over time. That's absolutely something that's important to us as you build your character.
So let's talk about the skill tree the weapon skill tree we're looking at
so
right here.
Not only does your player's build have a skill tree, but so do the weapons, and so does your armor that you wear.
Yeah.
So everything is, if you're going to build a character over time, we have to give you lots of cool stuff to do with it. Lots of weapons, lots of armor. What's exciting for us about that, Ryan, is once you get that build that you write, once you get it right to where you want it, you can take it into any one of our activities. So this is not something you have to leave behind when you go off into multiplayer.
So even when I go offline and come back, it's still there. It's mine.
Yeah, and maybe when you're online, you're on a mobile device, you're having some meaningful experience in interacting with your character and your friends in other ways too.
Now, how about the weapon we've got now? This looks pretty potent.
The Thunderlord,
yes.
It's like not only a heavy machine gun, but sparking blue fire around it. That's an exotic weapon. So that comes when you come up against an extra large combatant and you're taking them down.
Right.
And every now and then, they're going to drop something super cool, and you're going to take advantage of that.
So we've got elements of a loot game in Destiny then.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, how do you invest and grow your character in a persistent world if you don't have loot to get it? But the nice thing about that is you're not going to fight with your other fire teams, right? So you're on a private loot stream. So everything that's dropped is dropped for me.
Now, so you mentioned earlier those. Remind us again, what were those giant structures in the background?
So those are huge. Those are huge colony ships that never made it off the ground during the fall. And here we see we're introduced to our Titan.
Titan, yes, the heavy weapons guy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That'll be, I think, my first pick. I usually always play the heavy weapons.
It's a fun character to play, and look at the rocket launcher. It looks like it fires wolves.
Now coming in.
So now this is a big public event to start to it. So this is an area, I'm in a public space, and maybe I'm playing just great story.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm I've been playing PvP, or I'm going to a raid. But these are moments where we're all in this public space, and I could choose to keep doing what I want. But you know what? Maybe I want to join in with this larger public event.
I didn't see any opt-in. You just sort of walked into this scene.
You're just walking from space to space, and while I've had my own, even if I'm playing by myself story, I walk out into this more public area. If I choose to keep going, I can. But are you gonna really not jump in here and have a great time and get rewards?
What were those very Halo Ghost-esque speeder bikes we saw a second ago? Do they have a name?
So those are Sparrows, and they're a personal craft of the player. And that's all I can say right now.
Fair enough. Now you've talked about there's space combat in the game, or space travel in the game as well, correct?
There's space travel, and you'll be able to customize your own ship.
Yes.
Which should be super cool, but beyond that, I can't say any more.
And here, if my memory serves correctly, that is a spider tank, one of the fall.
So that's called the Devil Walker
okay.
right now. And right now we have a big public event, and so everybody's joining in to take down this big Devil Walker. And what's cool about that? Well, what's cool about that is it's great to do stuff with friends. This isn't intense. Nobody's counting on you.
How many people? I mean, seeing 1, 2, 3. I mean, there's at least 7 or 8 people here right now. Yes.
Yeah. So these are spaces where we'll support multiple fire teams coming in, multiple individuals or fire teams coming in. We're not talking about how many people each space will support.
Yeah.
And each public space, depending on its size or what we want to do, will certainly be dependent. But yeah, this is a public combat space where we're just joining in and having some fun, and at the end of it, we're going to get this nice reward of loot for taking down the Devil Walker.
Now, call me crazy, but I've played enough Halo in my lifetime. It wouldn't be the first time. I can tell from looking at Destiny that it's got a Halo vibe to it. It looks like it feels like Halo.
It takes place in the future, and we've been making shooters for a long time.
Yes.
But actually, I think like what you're seeing is really interesting characters, multiple classes of characters, multiple races of characters. We set you in our solar system and then kind of turn the world upside down on top of you. But our big goal is to really make a entirely new generation of shooter. For us, this is the next logical step of bringing it online, bringing it persistent, and allowing you to take your character anywhere.
It is looking amazing, obviously, as we just saw. 2014 is when our Destiny begins. You should hire me as your marketing guy, really. So, Pete, thank you very much for stopping by, and look for more on Destiny on IGN, because I'm going to be all over it. I'm practically I'm rooting through your garbage cans. That's how much I pay attention to Bungie.
Well, we appreciate you rooting
because I love you guys. So now we will throw it back to Naomi.
Thanks, McCaffrey. That game looks amazing. And how did you guys out there like that? Do you think it might be the game of the show? Sorry, game of show, rather. Well, now it's a good time to plug our People's Choice Award. Visit go.ign.com/E3, People's Choice, and vote for your favorite game when you have a sec, would you? We'll reveal the winner during the live show on Thursday, so stay tuned for that. Next up, we have a brand new shooter from Ubisoft, The Division.